All right, welcome back to another one. So, we're going to get into what I was talking about in the last episode, or at least I briefly mentioned. I really wanted to kind of fine tune the dream farm, so to speak. Just kind of wanted to change up the ground. It's this plot is like at a really awkward position because it doesn't exactly run parallel like with the main road and stuff where the gas station is, and so it sits at like this kind of like off angle. So like the house and the house fence and everything is an off angle, and that's something like you can't change or adjust. That's kind of it's there. So you have to kind of build everything around it. You can't delete it. Like the main your main house in the middle, and then there's that little like house you can't even do anything with right there. If you see in the center of the screen next to where I'm building that road, like that building you can't do anything with. The shed that the combine sits in, you can change that out. I do later in the video here, but there's a couple like spots that you can't do anything with, so you're just kind of stuck with like these weird off angles and positioning. And it just certain parts of it just really were just like I couldn't I couldn't look at it and like see that like gray line that goes around. That's like a curb that you can't get rid of either, and they're all over the place. So maybe I could have stuck with the some of the buildings and garages that you get when you buy the plot of land, because it would look more aesthetically pleasing, but they're just not very viable buildings. They don't have too many doors. Some of the garage doors are really small, so especially when you want to get larger equipment to work these massive fields that are around this house, you can't fit them in there, so you're left with nowhere to park all your equipment. So I made some adjustments. I relocated the greenhouses here. I picked up the little 6x6 to kind of tow the trailer around because I figured the tractors would be out doing some different things, and I just really wanted to kind of, I don't know, I needed something kind of super super cheap. I think it was like 20K to pick that thing up or whatever, just to tow the trailer around, just do a little yard work. And it's got a 3 point on the back, so if I needed to move something I could, as long as it's not too heavy, because that thing will pop a wheelie. And then you can't drive anywhere because the front wheels are just up in the air. Don't ask me how I know. But yeah, so some of the lighter equipment though, if you needed to kind of move it around the yard, you kind of could. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to really change up some things, clean some things up, clean up some lines in the parking lot, rearrange some stuff, move where like the silo was. Plus, we needed to find some space for the silo bunker that I'll be putting in later in this video. So we needed space for the silo bunker. We needed some space to store some of our larger equipment that we're going to be getting as time moves on, and some of the stuff that we've already gotten. I wanted a little more space for an extra greenhouse, and this right here is a mod. I'll be talking about it in a second. I installed. It's where you can store all your headers. I had a little issue trying to figure it out at first, but I did end up figuring it out. So we'll kind of check that out here now, and then I'll talk some more. Okay, so right here, I had to look up how to get it to go up and down to be able to store the different headers on there, but I finally figured it out. There's a 1 in the corner, and then there's a 2 in that corner. So those correspond to the different racks. 1 being the top, 2 being the middle one, and then technically you can put a third header on the ground right there where it says Lizard Storage. So you do have to kind of pick and choose which one you want to go in which spot based on how often you're going to use it. Like the one, I'm standing on it here, but it's technically under the ground, but I didn't want to deform the ground and have like a hump there, so I just kind of left it. But now I know kind of generally where it is. It's it's the opposite corner of the 2 there. But this mod is awesome, especially when I start getting into the really large headers, like the what is it, like 13, 14, 15 meters and stuff. And I think there's some even bigger ones than that. They're crazy big, but it's really convenient to store them on here, because then you can park your combine, which is going to be much skinnier without the giant header on it, into different garages with smaller garage doors. I used to use that blue garage that it was in before, a lot because it's so wide that you could fit a lot of the headers. Like, you can leave it on the combine and just back it in there so you don't have to worry about putting it on and taking it off all the time. But yeah, so this little location right here I'm pointing at, I'm gonna put a third greenhouse, and then where all these silage bales are, once we sell those off here shortly, we're gonna put a silage bale. Well, it also holds hay, grass, but it's a bale storage shed, and it's kind of like the silos and other spots where it's got an auto dump where you can just go up to it, you dump the bales off the trailer, and it stores them like automatically, like it pulls them into the system. And there's different sized ones that hold anywhere from like maybe 100 up to like 1,000 bales. So, and you can just put them in there, and then you can look at your little menu and it'll tell you how many you have of what and how many liters they are. And I think it even shows like the size and stuff. So, we're going to put one of those down for the future, since we're going to be sticking with the grass, at least on this plot of land. After we get some more land around, we'll be able to move on to some different crops. But right now, we're still pretty heavily in debt. I'm going to make a payment later in this video to make our first payment towards that $1 million debt from Grandpa and start paying that down. We're going to heavily focus on that over the next couple of episodes and this calendar year, getting these grass harvests and selling the silage because it's worth so much. And so we're going to pay off that and focus on that before we start moving into some bigger things. But I think for now, I really... Oh, man, I forgot about this. I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so this is the new garage I'm going to go with. I wanted something a little more convenient compared to that other one. The other one was like a really awkward shape. This one just felt like a better fit for my needs, and it also leaves quite a bit of space for another one, like to be across from it, facing it, for when we get some other stuff, when we start getting the grass stuff, like the baler, the wrapper, the trailer to move the bales, and all that other stuff, the grassland roller. We're going to need some of that other stuff. We're going to need another garage. But, yeah, I just figured this was a better fit for what we're trying to do and kind of clean up the area a little bit more. And then we'll get another one eventually. And what else was there? Oh, yeah, I need to get all the soybeans out now. And then we're going to move the silo over too, so we can create like a center drive like in between this garage and the next garage that we end up putting down. Yeah, so here's the bale garage that I was, bale shed. So, all right, but yeah, we got the silo moved over. We left enough space for both the bale storage shed here that's the one we're gonna put down. I think it holds 800 pieces, so it's pretty good for 57,500. As far as I know, it's just basic. Oh no, it is a modded one. Okay, large storage. Okay, but still, 800 pieces. I mean, we got 157 was it bales off of this spot. So, and in the future when we need to store it up, if we want to do like some animals and everything, we'll need that. So this is another mod I came across that I thought was really cool. It's an automatic vehicle wash, and it's big enough for even the combine to go through without a head or nothing. But you can take your tractors through it, you can take your machines through it, as long as they're, you can fold them up so they'll fit through there, and like not some of the wider ones, but it would you just kind of drive through it. So I thought it was pretty cool, man. I wanted to try it out. At least I was thinking about it. Oh, I need to put the soybeans back in the silo now that we moved it over. That way I can keep an eye on its price in the stock checker, because the stock checker doesn't show you what you have in like trailers and stuff. It only shows you what you have in your like production units or in your silos and different things. It shows me the bales and the grass that's going to turn into silage, but I don't know why, because the bales are just kind of sitting out, but it shows me the information on that. So, but I need to put the soybeans in here because we're about to sell those. I think peak is supposed to be June, but we might sell them next month if the price is good enough. It just kind of depends. The price might give you on like all your crops and stuff like that, your products. It'll tell you a month that it's supposed to hit its peak, but sometimes it'll hit the peak like the month before in the evening. You know, like if the peak was May, right now it's April at, 2:29. So maybe the peak is at like 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, even though it says the peak is next month in May. So, and sometimes it's the following month or it's the actual month, but it's like real early in the morning. So maybe it's May at 2 in the morning. And then by the time you wake up at 8, it's already like plummeted and you missed out on a bunch of money. So, you really got to kind of keep an eye on it, and just whenever it gets close enough to you feel comfortable with, sell off your crops or goods or whatever you have. But yeah, so we definitely need to keep an eye on that. And we're not going to be spending too much more time in April. I definitely want to move on to May and get that silage or the grass to ferment and turn into silage. I think it only usually takes about 1 month to do. It might take a few hours into May, maybe like noon or 1 or something, for it to finalize and all be completely done. It just kind of depends on when you harvest. I think it's like 24 hours. So if like I wrap a bale at noon in April, it'll be like noon May for it to be 100% fermented or something. I'm not 100% positive, but I think it's roughly that. I'm still pretty new to the whole grass hay silage thing, but after doing the math and seeing the money we can make from it, woo, baby, I'm all about it. Especially because grass is one of those few like handful of crops that you can harvest a couple times throughout the year. So if we can get 2 or 3 harvests, you know what I'm saying? All right.
Not sure about that, but
all right. It looks like this is done with the grass rolling. After you harvest the grass, you gotta use a specialized grassland roller for it. So we rented that up, and I had the Vultra with a worker handling that in the background and stuff. So that grass roller, we can send that back. Now we can go park up the Vultra and check on what else we need to do. I've been keeping an eye for contracts, just to kind of keep a little bit of income coming in. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep doing those. Maybe in the winter time. It just kind of depends. If we start making enough income off of our own land, I'd really like to start focusing heavily on working our own land, and this grass is going to be taking up a lot of our time. And then if we move into some of the animals and their products, that'll start taking up some of our time.
I think I'm going to go ahead
and everything, but I'm not sure. We're just at the cusp of starting to do some more big things and stuff like that. Why is this door?
I'm not sure.
So yeah, I've been checking out some contracts. Haven't really seen too many coming up. I would like to keep doing them a little bit, maybe, but
contracts pop up throughout the day.
See, like there's nothing really good. There's one or two that are like, maybe, but nothing really.
But
especially when I know we're about to have 2 massive paydays between
I forgot to speed time up.
I slowed our silage and our soybeans in the next month or 2. We're selling all that, so we're about to have a couple huge paydays.
Got all that done. All those are over there.
I need to check the grass now that it's rolled. I wonder if it'll show the current growth state, because I know once you harvest it, you don't have to wait as long as you originally waited for it to grow back. Plus, I don't know about like fertilizer, so like your nitrogen levels and stuff. Supposedly using the grassland roller is supposed to help with that, but that might have been precision farming. So I'm not really sure if we're gonna have to refertilize this in between grows. It's still decent, but it's not great.
Grass specific.
So I don't really know. And then
fertilize.
Also, we planted
Or
our
add a
grass in
fertilizer
like
seed
right
or something,
before
but
winter
that would
hit,
be
and it doesn't
all
grow in
grass.
winter. So I don't know
Not
how long it
precision
typically
farming
takes to
grass.
grow,
Okay.
and what stage it'll be at. And
So
you
it
know,
says
now that we
pH levels
harvested
overall
it
is
from
good.
full,
So I don't think
because
we
I know there's
limed yet.
4
We limed just
growth
before
states, so
this.
to speak. There's like planted stage 1, which
nitrogen
I think is what it's at. And then there's,
It's just okay.
or
It
wait,
doesn't
no,
need a
it'd be
lot,
at
but
stage
it needs a
2.
Jeez.
2,
Look at our
right?
environmental score.
And then there'd be stage
Holy.
3 and stage 4 are the 2 harvest states.
Environmental
But
score increases
one,
your
like
cell
stage
price
3,
by
you only get like
15%.
half of your
I've never
yield.
seen a perfect
Yeah, but,
environmental score.
Like this nitrogen
I've
level.
also never done
it's-
grass.
I don't
though.
know. It's
highest
okay,
think
but
I've
it's
seen is around,
low.
like,
But the grass doesn't need a lot of
90-ish.
nitrogen.
I've
It
got some
needs
fields up to the
some, but
90
not
range
compared
or,
to
like,
some of the
low,
other plants.
like upper 80s, low 90s, but
pH
like 99
is,
a perfect
is
stat.
decent. You know, it's
What?
just
That has to
slightly
be something
low.
with grass, or
So we don't need to lime
maybe
it
the
yet.
previous owner just really took care of the land.
I don't know.
And
I
this is
think
just
I'm gonna skip
carryover
out on
environmental score.
fertilizing it, and we'll fertilize it after the next harvest
Yield map looks
and
good.
see
Seed rate. Okay.
what our yield looks like. See, because
I'll
look,
leave
there's
it
some
alone,
spots
'cause
that
there's
say
some areas that
perfect,
it's really
and then there's
good,
some spots that
rest
say
areas that are
okay, and it's
okay.
just like it's
So,
hit and miss, man.
there's
I need
not
to
really much
clear
going on. I
out
think
the,
it's just time to
Some of the yield maps and stuff. I wonder if I can
move
clear out like the
on to
nitrogen map to
May.
reset it or anything. I wonder if there's a way to do that.
see if we have
Maybe
bills
plowing
going
it. If we, well,
out and
before winter,
go
I think.
from
Once we
there.
get our second harvest, if
and
we
also
can get
we're
a
gonna
second
check the
one,
silage
or not a
map
second,
to see how
third.
much it fermented.
We're definitely going to get one more. We've
So,
already had one. We're definitely going to get a
let's go.
second one. But if we can get to the third one,
If we can
then when
sell
we're
the
done with that, I
silage
might
too, that'd be
plow the
amazing.
field
Sell the
and
silage
reset
and
it
the
to see if that'll
soybeans
kind of
are high
clear
enough.
everything
We might
out
have
and
to
kind of
slow
start
it down with
fresh.
soybeans,
Because I
but
just kind of took it over from
about to
whoever
have a
I
couple
bought this
big
farm from, and
paydays.
the land's kind of whatever. So we moved on to May. Hopefully,
That wasn't bad.
the silage is fermented in those
We actually made
bales,
money
and
'cause
then we
we
can
had
sell
the,
those.
what else
I
do
think we might have
This
to
month?
skip a couple hours.
Oh, there's a grassland roller.
Oh, the
That was
grassland
only the 12 meter.
roller.
It's 64%
Mm,
off.
tempting.
But,
Tempting. We'll check on that later. We'll check on that later.
Okay.
But we need to check
we
on the
need to
bales.
check the
We
field,
might need
see the
to
growth
kind of
stage.
fast forward a couple hours, maybe take a nap
Don't
till
know
like,
how long
you
it'll
know,
take to
late morning,
regrow.
early afternoon. We'll take a nap till
We need to
then, and then we can,
the
then the
silage.
bales will be fermented. But let's see what the grass says now.
Okay, so it's 2
Okay,
of
so
4.
it says
That's
2 of
1 month
4.
after cutting.
So it's May.
So
So
next
then
month will
June
be
would be 3,
3.
and July would be
Whoops.
4. So we can harvest in July.
We
And then
harvested
it would be
in
2
April.
for August, 3
Growth
for
stage 2 is May,
September,
3 is
4
June,
for
and 4 is
October.
July.
So yeah, we can get
We can harvest in
2
July, and then it'll take
2
August,
harvests.
September, and October.
2 more harvests. So we'll get 3
We
total
harvested in
harvests.
April.
And then
Growth stage 2
if
for May, 3
we can
for
still
June,
plant
4
until
for July,
November.
which is
So
gonna
after
be
we get the
max,
second harvest
which
in
means we can
October, or the
harvest,
third harvest in
and then it'll
October,
go into the
in
same
November we
cycle.
could
So it'll be
probably,
2 August, 3 September,
or actually
4
October after we get
October.
done, if we wanted
We
to,
can harvest all the
October
way till
evening,
November.
we could plow up,
So,
replant,
I'm pretty
re-roll,
sure we can
get
get
it all
2 more
fresh,
harvests out
and
of
then it
this
won't grow
this
over
year.
winter, but it'll be
Oh,
fresh for
shit, that's
springtime.
gonna
And if
be
we need to do lime, fertilizer,
lot of
any of that
money.
stuff.
Uh,
So, and based on my
check our
math, man, we're going to make
here.
like 200,
So that's
250K
lettuce.
off of that.
Wait, here we go.
Okay, so it still
It
says
still
grass,
says grass, so that
but
must
if we
mean that
run
it
over there and
hasn't
check, we'll see what the
fully,
percentage is,
fermented yet.
and it might be
Soybean
getting
price is
close.
going up, but
So if
that
it's getting
would sound like we're
close,
still 30,000
then we're definitely selling
shy
today
of
because
peak. It says max
the-
month is
the
July,
max,
but
you know, you can sell silage for,
look
and the
at the
base you can sell
normal
silage for
prices,
throughout the
it
year, you know,
says
because crops
June.
have high months and
so
low
we're
months, and
definitely
they
waiting
dip
another
and
month for
flow.
the soybeans, so let's go
It's
check
it's
out.
not
See
much
how
of a
much is
difference. It's
left
like
on
340
this.
versus 360 or something. It's like a $20 difference. So
86.
it's
Ooh,
really just like when it's ready,
84.
sell it and get rid of it because you got
I
another
don't
harvest
have a
around the
rate.
corner. You
I mean,
know,
I
like
guess
it's
if
so
we
it's like bam, bam,
waited
bam,
long
bam.
enough in the
So you
day
gotta get rid of it when you
today,
can. Yeah. See, so
maybe
we're at
by this
83% on
evening,
this one.
by the,
This might have
they'll
been
be
one of
ready
the
to go.
last ones
don't know
we bailed up
what
yesterday,
the hourly fermenting
or
rate
last
is
month.
and how
So
many hours it would take
if we,
to get them all to 100%. And
it shouldn't
ensure-
take
'cause
long.
Some of these,
maybe,
seeing,
yeah.
like,
If we take like a
83,
nap
others
until
I'm
like
seeing, like,
noon or something, maybe
89,
one, they should be done. See, like this one's 87,
94.
94.
Early ones that we
So
did,
some of these
the
are
first ones.
much farther along.
So, and I don't know how
95.
those
So
things
some of
break
those
down,
might have been
though.
some of the
These ones are
earlier
far
ones. I
worse
think
than the
some of
last
those
ones
were
did,
that we
like
dumped. This is some of the
85,
last ones that we
80.
dropped off.
So,
This was some of the
okay, well,
middle ones,
that's
but
gonna have to wait
also
a little bit
I
on
was
that.
picking
We're
them up at
definitely waiting till next
random
month
though.
for
That's the thing.
the
Where I dropped them wouldn't matter. It'd be
soybeans.
where I picked them up from on the
Let's
field
go
because
ahead
the
and
spot up
the
above the garage in that little like
down.
cove, the
Let's,
smaller area, I did those first, and then it
throw
was
in
the
that
ones off the
third
big side of the field that I did last. You know, we got a little bit of cash. I think I'm gonna throw in this final greenhouse for the lettuce to get some extra income. I think we make like I don't know, 6,000 to 8,000 a month, depending on the price of lettuce, just with like the auto sell per greenhouse. So if we got 3 of them, you know, we're probably looking at I don't know, anywhere from 15 to 25K per month.
Let me go.
Maybe more than that.
into our production.
6 grand minimum, 3 of them. I mean, that's
That one's
18.
already
So
selling lettuce,
and
selling
8
lettuce,
grand
and now
peak,
this one's
24.
the
So
new
like 18
one,
to
so we
24 ish,
activate
give
it,
or take. I don't know.
change it to selling.
But still, I mean, it's a
need
nice
to
little
put
bit
some
of cash
water
coming
in
in.
this.
It's
How
not a
much
not a lot per
water is
month,
going to a month.
but,
so I've
you
maxed
know,
this one out.
throughout the year. It
It's gone
adds
to about
up.
6,000 liters.
I mean, if you're making
that one's still
upwards
full
of
because I
25K in a
left the
month,
trailer next to it.
shit,
and it
that's
drains out of the
300,000 throughout the
trailer.
year. That's a fresh tractor,
so
a
it'll
couple
do about
big pieces of
6,000
equipment,
a
new
month,
plot of land.
which means we
I
only
mean, that
really
can
need
pay
to go
itself
through
off
and
pretty quick.
fully
So,
fully these up.
don't question my driving.
I don't know. I might do like a.
All right, let's fill these up real quick and go. Oh man, this is the trigger, man. I thought I knew where it was, then I didn't know what it was. Then I thought it was in the building. All right, we're almost done. Get this. All right, so we're gonna pick up this bale auto loading trailer. I'm not sure which trailer we'll use in the future, but for this specific job, we're absolutely using this thing. I'm not gonna sit there for the next like 3 real world hours and use like a front loader or a telehandler or something to like the like telehandler. God, I always mess it up, but might be a little bit faster, but still, I'm not gonna sit there with some forks and load. What do we have? 157 bales, but holy, we made over 50 grand off that first load, and we have 4 loads because this thing will hold 40 bales. So just shy of 4 full loads. We'll be like 3 shy. And so it looks like we're going to end up making about $250,000 off this. I forgot about the environmental bonus. So if you have a high environmental score based on your precision farming and like getting all your nitrogen levels right and your pH balances right and plowing when you need to and all that stuff, if you have a high environmental score, you can make like, I think it's up to like 10 or 15% of your sale of whatever you're selling. But if it's low, you can lose money. So I forgot about that. But we're going to drop this last one off. We're already over 200K right now, 206. And this last one's going to put us around like the 250 mark, I think. Yeah. Oh, 260. Yeah. So, this is the animal like husbandry, I think it is, or the animal farm, animal seller. Yeah, this is the animal seller. This is probably most likely where we're going to be selling our bales. The other place that buys silage, I think it only buys silage that you pull out of a bunker, not bales, but I don't know. I've never really dealt with it. We should go over there and look and see if they have a drop point at some point. Because I think they were offering like, I don't know, like $7 or $8 more per 1,000 liters. But I didn't really feel like it's a little bit farther. This place is closer. It was only a couple dollars per, so we wouldn't have lost out on much in the grand scheme of things. But right now with this cash, we're gonna head back. We need to put down the bale storage building, which was like 57,000 and some change. So for our future harvest and stuff, we'll have places to store those while they ferment. And then also, if we end up getting some animals in the future, the ones that take either grass or hay or silage or straw or whatever, we'll have a place to store that, so we won't have to always sell it. Because because we'll get other fields to grow crops that we can sell. But in there we'll keep some. We'll sell some excess if we have like a lot. But we'll keep some in there for some of the animals and stuff if we dive into that. I haven't done too much with the animals in this game. This is my first farming sim game, so I've done some stuff, but not other stuff like root crops, like vegetables and stuff. I don't deal with those because you need two people, honestly. You can have the AI worker on the harvester, but then you got to sit there and drive next to them the whole time. I know there's that like sync follow mod to test out, but I don't know, it just all looks complicated. Like harvesting carrots, it's so slow too because you have to use specialized harvesters and they're just not great. So let's go ahead and find this bale storage building, and let's 57,500 holds 800 pieces, so we got that's plenty for future and stuff, and if it gets too full we can always sell some off. But let's get it situated in here, get it nice and pretty, like at least the best we can, and then we might have to smooth out the ground a little bit, possibly. We'll get down here and look. Looks all right. I don't see any deformation. I mean, this is a pretty flat farm and piece of land, so I think that's the load spot. So the middle one is where you're going to dump your bales. This one you'll dump off, and then you can pull up to the other one, and I know you can just like auto load into it and stuff. Oh, did I activate that lettuce? Okay. Anyways, so we'll dump the bales right there in the middle, then we can pick them up from here, and they'll populate, and you'll see like a bunch of them in the storage like shed itself. You'll see stacks and stacks of them and stuff, which is pretty cool. But I think that's about all we really got going on for the most part. Oh yeah, okay. I know I briefly showed it a little bit earlier, but I want this automatic washer. I want it. It's so goofy and it's so silly, and it's 75 grand, but I want it, man. I don't know why. I just do. Like, you ever just like, look, if we run into money issues, that's future me's problem, okay? Like right now I want the fun stuff, man. Let future me deal with going into debt. Living the now. I was just talking to my brother, and he was talking about buying a walk behind, and he was like, I don't want to spend the money. I'm like, bro, just buy the walk behind mower, man. Get that shit. Enjoy life. Speed around on that little just have fun, fuck it. Wait, it didn't work? Hold on. Sometimes I should read the directions on these mods. Like, I didn't read the direction on that header shelving unit, and I had to like stop and go search on the mod page to figure out how to get the racks to move up and down. And looks like I might have to do it for this one because it's not washing. I thought you were just supposed to drive through it. Hold on. Okay. Wait. I gotta figure out. Hold on. All right, I may or may not have figured it out through some investigative work. So you have to park inside. You get out, you walk to the outside right there, and there's like a trigger for it to wash. But you know what's dumb is like you have to, or I think you can push it from the inside. But anyway, I thought it was just you drive through and it would like trigger once there's a vehicle inside the thing, and it would work. It doesn't. You have to get out of your vehicle and turn it on. I mean, that's how accidents happen. Haven't you seen all the videos online on like Instagram and shit? That's how people get their car doors ripped off and shit by getting out or opening it up while you're in the automatic wash. The modders who made this, you're awesome, but you should try and figure out a trigger for when you're pulling in and out that'll turn it on or off or something, or somehow allow you to use it from inside the tractor. Also, it only does like 35-ish% so if like your vehicle's 100% dirty, it only clean about 35% of it on one wash. So you have to do it like 3 times to get it like fully clean. Oh God, I can't fucking drive. I'm not drunk, I swear. I'm sober. These tractors, man, sometimes they just get squirrely. I'm a distracted tractor driver, which is crazy because like normally like not in Hutan Pantai, but out in the good old U.S. of A. I'm phenomenal driver, but in the good old coastal forest, I fucking drive like shit, man. Do you remember episode 1? I was driving that truck. That shit would dart everywhere, but that thing had some get up and go. That bitch was like Tesla Model S plaid fast. That thing was stupid. I think I did have the 700 horsepower engine in it though, so I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna see. Look, I'm getting all sprayed, and I almost got ran over by the washer arm. All right, we're gonna get this all washed up, and then I'm gonna catch up with you in a minute. Oh, we gotta get the combine washed too. Okay, I'm gonna wash this. I'm gonna wash the combine. The combine's the main reason I got this because how dirty it was. She a dirty girl. But I'm gonna wash these two up, and then I'm gonna check back in, and we're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna get ready and prepared for the following month because we got. I think I still have the soybeans. I haven't sold those yet. I don't think. So we still got the soybeans to sell. I'm pretty sure we're selling those next month, and then. We'll look at some other things to do in the meantime while we wait for the grass to grow back. And also, you know what? I said I was going to catch back up with you, but I got talking again. Before we end this, I'm going to make I've been meaning to do this, but now that we got the dream farm, it's mostly set up. We've got some really good equipment that's paid off. We paid all the loans off and everything. We have $130K in the bank, and I know we're about to sell the soybeans. We'll have another silage harvest coming up, so I'm going to make the first payment on Grandpa's $1 million loan that he stiffed us with. I think I'm either going to pay 100, or I might just put the full, because you have to do it in 5K increments. I might just put a whole 125K into it and just try and knock it down. That'll lower our monthly interest payments, which are only like $3,400, something like that. So it's not like it's much, but when what are we, year 2 or 3? I can't fucking see that shit from here. I'm too far from the screen. It's like $30K a year. So I mean, if we would have had that, we could have bought some other shit. But I mean, the goal is we already in day 1 of being here, we got screwed over by Gramps. We lost all the used equipment he had. We lost the entire farm. The bank seized everything. They took on all of it. We didn't keep none of that money, none of that land, none of that equipment. We had to start over, and we built up to this point fairly quick. Couple years, took a couple years to bounce back, and now we're finally really starting to bring in some big paydays now. So I think the next logical step is we need to start paying off that loan as soon as possible, and then once we're free of that burden, it's just all about building up the empire. I don't know what the Oh, I do remember. The next goal after finishing that is I want to go around. Because remember, Gramps has got a shell company, so he's hiding a bunch of assets, and he's got land all over the region, and I want to buy that shit up. I want to take him down. We're going to take out his whole hidden operation, and we're going to leave that dude broke. But let's pay some of this off here. Should do 100, 125, 120, 100. I paid 110, 115, 120, 125. All right, we're doing it all. Okay, so that leaves us with less than 5K, but we got a little money from the lettuce coming in each month, so we'll have a little bit of starter cash. We're at least not going to go negative at the very least. See if there's any contracts. Nah, there isn't really any contracts. I really want to focus on our stuff now. Maybe do some in the background if there's something good pops up. But I guess until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.